My name is Maya. It all started in a flight to England. I met this handsome man, calm and quiet. But there was something about the tone of his voice so charming. When he talked about his wife, Monica, his face was not that bright. That was when I knew he wanted something special from me. He wants to be happy again. Gosh, who am I to say no to his request? I fell in love with him and we met and made love on different occasions in hotels far from his city. But that narrative changed when Monica, Ethan's wife, saw us together in a hotel room. How on earth did she know we were in this hotel? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, do well to subscribe, like, and hit on notifications. To all my returning subscribers, thanks for stopping by. Let us begin. My name is Maya. I never thought I'd fall in love with a married man. But life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? It all started on a flight to England. I had a business event in London, something small but important to me. I boarded the plane, found my seat, and noticed the man sitting beside me. He looked tired but smart. His black suit was sharp and his watch looked expensive. He gave me a polite smile and returned to his tablet. I didn't pay much attention at first, but a few hours into the flight he started talking. My name's Ethan, he said. Work is dragging me across the world again. I smiled. I'm Maya. That was the beginning. We talked for almost the whole flight. He told me he worked in finance, that he had been married for years, and that he was flying in for a board meeting. But there was something in his tone when he spoke about his wife. Flat. Empty. Like he wasn't really there when he mentioned her. You don't sound excited to go back home, I said softly. He gave a short laugh. Home stopped being exciting a long time ago. That sentence stuck with me. Ethan wasn't like the other men I'd met. He was calm, confident, and gentle with his words. And yes, he looked at me, really looked at me, as if I was something rare. That flight ended, but the connection didn't. We exchanged numbers. I didn't plan to text him, but I did. Just once. And he replied. Quickly. We kept talking. Day by day, our messages got longer. His replies got warmer. He started calling me late at night, whispering in the dark, telling me things he hadn't told anyone before. He said he couldn't stop thinking about me. He said I made him feel alive again. Soon he stopped talking about his wife at all. He told me she didn't understand him, that she wasn't the woman he married. He said they hadn't touched each other in months, that he would lie beside her and feel like a stranger. I only think about you now, he told me one night. Every night it's you. I didn't know what to say to that, but I knew how I felt. I missed him when he didn't call. I smiled when his name popped up on my phone. I started imagining what it would be like to see him again. And then he asked to meet. Las Vegas, he said. I'll book something private. Somewhere beautiful. Just us. I knew what that meant. I knew what we were stepping into. But I didn't say no. When I arrived at the hotel, he was already waiting. He looked nervous, more than I expected. But when he kissed me for the first time, all the nerves melted away. We didn't talk about right or wrong. We didn't talk about vows or loyalty. That night, we gave in to everything we had been feeling. And it was everything he promised it would be. But love built on a lie always has a price. And ours was coming soon. After that night in Las Vegas, things changed between Ethan and me. He started calling more often. Every morning before work, every night before bed. He sent me flowers to my apartment. Expensive ones. I didn't ask for any of it. He just wanted me to know I was on his mind. And I was constantly. We met twice more that month, both times in quiet hotels, far from where anyone might recognize him. He never talked much about his wife Monica. I assumed they had grown distant. But once I asked, does she know something's going on? I whispered as I lay next to him in the hotel room. He stared at the ceiling. She doesn't even notice me anymore. I wanted to believe that. I really did. I knew what we were doing was wrong, but it didn't feel that way when we were together. When he held me, kissed me, talked to me, it felt like the kind of love I had waited my whole life for. And maybe he felt the same. Or maybe he just needed an escape. One day Ethan surprised me. "I want to take you somewhere special," he said. "Back to Las Vegas. But this time a suite at the Bellagio. The best." I laughed. "What's the occasion?" "You," he said simply. "You're the occasion." We arrived 2 weeks later. The room was stunning. Gold and white everywhere, soft music playing. A view that stretched beyond the city lights. I wore a red dress he bought me. He couldn't take his eyes off me. That night was like a dream. He said he had never felt so free. That he hadn't smiled this much in years. I believed every word. I wanted to. But love doesn't stay hidden forever. What we didn't know was that someone had seen us. Someone who knew Monica. While Ethan and I danced in the hotel lounge, a woman at another table took photos. I didn't notice her. Neither did he. But the next day everything fell apart. It was supposed to be just another night in our secret world. We were lying in bed, laughing about something silly. Then there was a knock on the door. Ethan got up to check. I heard his voice. Then silence. Then her voice. "Monica." I jumped out of bed and threw on a robe, heart pounding. When I stepped into the hallway, Monica was standing there in a black coat, holding up her phone. Her face was pale, eyes wide with disbelief. "So this is what you've been doing," she said, her voice cold. Ethan froze. "Monica, I can explain." "No, you can't," she cut in. "You're done. We're done." She handed him an envelope. I didn't have to ask what it was. Divorce papers. Then she turned and walked away, leaving the door open and the truth spilled all over the hallway. Ethan didn't chase after her. He just stood there, holding the envelope like it weighed 1,000 pounds. And I stood behind him, shaking, wondering what I had just destroyed. Love had led us here. But now it was breaking everything. After Monica walked out of that hotel room, nothing felt the same. Ethan didn't say a word for a long time. He just stood there staring at the door, holding those papers. I sat down on the edge of the bed, wrapped in silence. The lights in the suite were still glowing. The music was still playing. But everything else had stopped. "Do you want to talk?" I asked gently. He didn't respond. I didn't expect him to. I knew what he was thinking. His marriage was over, and not just in theory. It was real now. Final. Written down in legal ink and handed to him by the woman he had once promised forever. That night we didn't touch each other. We didn't kiss. We just laid in silence side by side, lost in our own thoughts. Felt cold even with him so close. The next morning Ethan left early. He didn't say much. Just a short goodbye and a quiet promise to call. But he didn't. Days passed. Then weeks. First I thought he needed time. Maybe he was sorting things out with lawyers. Maybe he was feeling guilty. I understood that. I didn't want to push him. But the silence stretched on. I sent him a message. No reply. I called. Straight to voicemail. I started to wonder if it had all been real, or if I was just a beautiful escape for a man who no longer loved his wife. Maybe that's all I was, someone who helped him forget for a while. I hated how much I missed him, how much I still wanted him to explain. But deep down I knew what was happening. He was ashamed. He had broken a vow, ruined a marriage, and destroyed the life he had built. And even though he had chosen me in the moment, the cost of that choice had caught up to him. Maybe he blamed me. Maybe he blamed himself. Either way, he disappeared. I never saw him again. Months later, I heard through a mutual friend that the divorce went through. Monica moved to another city. Ethan sold the house they shared and took time off work. He was quiet now, more distant than before. Not the man I met on the plane. And me? I moved on. Slowly. I don't regret meeting him. I don't regret the love we shared, even if it was brief and broken. But I've learned something important. Love that begins in the shadows rarely survives the light. What Ethan and I had wasn't fake. It was real in the moments it happened. But real doesn't always mean right. And sometimes right doesn't mean lasting. I still think about him sometimes. I wonder if he thinks about me. I wonder if he looks back and wishes things had gone differently. I wonder if he still sees my face when he closes his eyes at night. But I've let him go. Because loving someone should never mean destroying someone else. And now I know better. Now I'm learning to love myself. Have you ever imagined yourself in this kind of situation? And I know so many things could be going on in your mind. What did you do about it? Subscribe to this channel, like, and hit on notifications for more interesting stories like this.